Hi, it's Shay. You're back with the Oz Arab Media team, and today we're shining the spotlight on one of our sponsors for this week's Oz Arab Media Gala. Ahead of the gala this week, we're talking to someone who knows all about heavy lifting, not just at work, but in business too. David from AAA Removalists, and no, this is not just your standard or polished pitch. David has built his name and his legacy based on his hard work, grit, and showing up when people don't. David, thank you so much for joining us today at the Oz Arab Media Studios.
You are so kind with the introduction. Thank you very much for that.
Lovely. Well, it's just a reflection of your legacy, especially within our very, very grateful Australian Arab community. So thank you. The pleasure is all mine. Let's get straight into the questions. A removalist sponsoring a black tie event. Tell me, why did you want to take this step and take part in the spotlight and the events for this week?
Look, I'd probably go as far as taking it back to 2016, 2017. Head of marketing said to me, David, you actually have an unsexy product. Removalists, how do you market out? It's not like a pizza where you feel like a pizza on a Friday night.
Well, I did struggle as well myself to see that.
So they said to me, you need to connect into a wider community and into chambers. And 2017, I actually sponsored the Western Sydney Awards for Business Excellence from 2017 to 2022. So it's become a thumbprint for us to sponsor major events. And the most important thing is meeting lovely, like-minded business people in the community.
Thank you. The event is all about elegance and evening wear. What made you feel like this event was right for your brand?
I don't think elegance and the limelight takes away from humanity. At the end of the day, we've all got the same skin. People dress differently to go to work, whether it be different masks or different uniforms. But at the end of the day, we're human beings. And if you can relate with a human being, there's no reason why you can't relate to all human beings. So for me, it's, you're dealing with people, and I love it.
Thank you. And we can definitely see that experience coming through in terms of your leadership within our community. So this event, it's based on charity and celebration. Which of these speaks most to you and why?
Look, charity, celebration, they're both end products of community. In order to a person to belong to a community, you really need to start understanding who you are as a person. When you understand who you are as a person, you're okay within your skin, with all your great points, your average points, and your negative points. What you're then able to do is you're able to bring that to the spectrum. And when you're out to connect with people, I think that's what allows us to grow. And when you're able to grow with like-minded, I keep saying the word like-minded people because we're not meant to belong to every single facet of society. I think being a jack of all trades has never prospered with most successful people. You find your niche, you find the kind of people who you feel quite eloquent, relaxed talking to, like-minded, and people will bring out the very best in you. And because of this connection, then you get, obviously, celebration, and then you got charity that comes after that.
Thank you for sharing. Can see your experience shine through both in the business, networking, and also, like I said, through events like this. Sponsoring the event, what would you say to other businesses, especially businesses in the trades, that think this step maybe is not for them?
You know, one of the hardest decisions, Shay, is as any household, any human, any business person, and even politicians in government, there is an allotted amount of money that every person has, and they need to work wisely as to where to distribute that. And for a businessman, we've got marketing dollars. Knowing where to put it is one of the hardest decisions, but you know something? Sometimes it's no longer about dollars and cents. Sometimes it's about, is this a good cause? Are these people that I'd be proud being with? And you stop focusing on, if I spend $1, will I make $2? Will I make $3? It is, do I want to be in this atmosphere? So for me, sponsorship, I've got to an age where it's no longer about what do I get out of it, but what can I give? Who am I surrounded by? And what does that show about the kind of people I hang out with?
Bringing people together, networking. Why is it so important for people in business to come together at events like this?
Rather than spending our money on pharmaceuticals and counsellors, and without diminishing that, I mean, people do need it. There's so much that can be gained out of connecting with people that have similar struggles, that have gone through things that you have and you can learn from. And again, please, it's not just about business. See, we're pigeonholed as being business people as if this is the only dimension that we have. To be a successful leader, we are HR, we're accountants, we're domestic violence, we're friends, we're fathers, mothers, sisters, brothers, we're community leaders. We're not just business people. And as I said to you, I think it's just about being able to find, I keep saying it, communities that espouse everything we are, but more importantly, that actually send a benchmark of the people we want to be, because there are people that are better than me in those places that I espouse to be like them.
David, a reflection of what you represent for a lot of us here in Australia. Thank you and commend you for the contribution, not just in the business world, but to our Australian Arab networks. So this week, more of a light-hearted question. Can we expect to see you in the spotlight or behind the scenes?
Leaders are always in the scenes. They're not. They're behind the scenes, but they're also in the spotlight. You know, if I can just say this, I think being a proper leader, things happen naturally. You don't force it; it just happens naturally. So wherever it's going to happen on the night, it's going to happen on the night. But I will be dressed up and looking forward to it.
Amazing. I'm sure Charbel and Remy will make sure that you are in the spotlight this week. Okay, one feeling or a takeaway that you'd like people to have after attending this gala, what would that be?
I really want to think about your question. It's a very, very insightful question. Simple. People were made to be with each other. Now, if we go through every prophecy under the sun, there'll be wars and rumours of war, pestilence, famines in fasting places, so on and so forth. Without making this a religious response, I want to make it a humanity response. At the end, it says, and the great body of people grows cold to each other. And this is the most fearsome thing that we take, that you can have wars, we can have pestilence, we can have famines, but as long as people are together, we stand a chance of surviving and thriving and growing. And the moment we grow cold to each other, can't be bothered talking to each other, have no more love for each other, this is where humanity falls down. And I've got so much respect for humanity. I can see humanity really coming out of the difficulties that we're in at the moment, but it must be where we stay close to each other. The other thing I do want to say, if I can throw this in, I've got a lot of respect for what you guys do, and especially with Remy and Charbel. I wish you the very best, and it's a pleasure to be associated with Oz Arab Media.
Thank you, David. The pleasure is ours. Okay, your advice now for other businesses or even people who are looking at this week's event and probably thinking it's not for them. What would you say to them to get them in the doors and obviously at events, if not this week, but in the future?
You've obviously lived life for many, many years, and you've done the same thing over and over and over, and you get the same results. I think part of the strength of a character of a human being is getting out to a place where they don't believe it's going to benefit, or they don't understand, or there's a bit of fear. And it's these uncharted territories that gives us a sense of satisfaction. Whether we gain something out of it or not, we always do, because you learn a lesson. I think there really has to be the pushing of our boundaries, and I welcome people to come out and actually see that it's not just a multicultural event. It's not just an Arab event. It's actually an event of people coming together that love this country called Australia. They have dignified people that are there, and people that you meet, you do become a better person. I would most definitely welcome them.
Thank you, David. A huge thank you from us, Remy, Charbel, and the team. You've heard it here at Oz Arab Media. David is just one of the many leaders that you'll see this week at the Oz Arab Media Gala. Thank you, David, for joining us today at the Oz Arab Media Studios. For everybody watching, don't forget to like and share this interview with your networks. Stay connected as we prepare for this week's Oz Arab Media Gala event. I'm Shay. And until next time, take care.